We're back 4 minutes after 3 o'clock on this Monday afternoon. My name is Daniel Chepp. Thanks for dialing up the afternoon show here today. And it's Monday afternoon. That means it's our school of the week. This is our third school year doing this, where we ask various schools from around Lake County to come in with their principal and a couple of the teachers to tell us what's going on in their school, what they're excited about, what the school year's going like. And this time, it's the Copeland Manor School in Libertyville. We're going to be talking in just a couple of minutes with a couple of the teachers, Sharon Murphey and Marilyn Copeland. Have to find out about that. But we always begin with the principal of our schools to sort of get a little bit of background on the school. And it's the principal of Copeland Manor is Mike Snow. And, you know, I was saying earlier in the afternoon that Copeland Manor sounds very proper. Sounds like a bunch of well-behaved kids in uniforms. And there's just something about the name of the school. I'm getting looks like I couldn't be more wrong. Hi, Mike. It's nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, but really, if you think about it, I mean, usually the schools are named for something. It's just a name, like maybe Copeland, but now Copeland Manor sounds very, very proper.
It's named after the area in Libertyville. It was a Copeland Manor area. And Copeland Manor was built, I think it was in 1957, so it's been there a little while. And right now we have a student population, kindergarten through 5th grade, of about 320 students, all prim and proper, right?
But no uniforms.
Yeah, no uniforms.
Okay. Well, it's been there. How long have you been there? How long have you been there?
This is my 12th year at Copeland Manor. I've been in Libertyville District 70 for 22 years.
You don't look that old.
I color my hair, Dave.
Okay. And have you've been the principal for 12 years?
I've been the principal over there for 12 years, right.
Were you a teacher at one time?
I was a teacher. I taught at Stephen Decatur High School. And then from Stephen Decatur, I was lucky enough to be drafted into the Army for a couple of years. And then from there, I went out and got the master's degree, came back, worked over at Butterfield School as a guidance counselor for 10 years, which is in District 70, and then over to Copeland.
And you like being the principal as opposed to being a teacher?
Absolutely.
It's good to be the king. What is it? What do you like about being a principal?
Well, I think as far as being a principal, I think my style of principal is kind of a hands-on. I like to be in the classroom. This gives me an opportunity to really get in the classroom, different classrooms. I get to know the kids, and I think that's very important because I want to work with the kids, and I want them to see that the principal is not only the guy that they see as the one they're sent to when things are going wrong, but also when they're going right, too.
Does this still happen a lot? See a lot of kids?
I see a lot of kids, more often when they're doing it right than when they're doing it wrong.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. You taught high school, but you're the principal of a grade school. Quite a difference there, quite a diversity.
What I did was I taught, I had American history, and I taught remedial English at Stephen Decatur High School, and then from there went back, got my master's degree in guidance and counseling. And then from there, did a little interviewing process and went around and got involved with the elementary, and that's something I wouldn't trade for the world.
And in your 12th year now, I would have met as the principal, how have the kids changed?
As far as the kids and the change, I see that a lot of the family structure has changed. The families, what we're seeing in Libertyville is right now, there's a lot of single-parent families. I think you're seeing that within the society today, as you see in all things. And kids on the, seem to be needier and stuff like that. And what we try to do is put an emphasis on providing an education for the whole child.
Okay. We're going to come back to you. We're going to find. Well, actually, before we do that, let me ask the question I like to ask every educator that comes in here. Why education? You could have done so many other things with your life. Why did you choose this?
I've wanted to be involved in education as a teacher ever since 8th grade. And my original plans were to be a history teacher.
Was there a teacher or something? I mean, 8th grade, that might have been around time, there might have been a teacher.
You knew her, my 8th grade history teacher, Mrs. Clark. And I also had an 8th grade physical education teacher and a basketball coach who was very influential.
So you've done it all, and you like what you're doing. You ever see yourself doing anything else besides being in education?
I'd like to fish sometime.
As a career?
That's it.
Well, Professional fisherman, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
I can tell the stories anyway. I can't catch them.
That's what that 3-month vacation is for next
That's
summer.
it,
And
yeah.
you can go do that. All right, we'll come back to you, Mike. Thanks for being in here. Let's meet the teachers that you brought along with you today. We'll start with the first grade. Sharon Murphey is here in the studio with us. Sharon, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
And how long have you been a teacher?
I've been at Copland for 11 years, and I taught for a few years before that, before I stopped and raised my own family.
So you and Mike have worked together for a long time.
About 11 years.
So you probably know like so much about each other that you can finish each other's sentences and
Well, a lot of people at Copeland have been there for quite a while. Just in the last couple of years have we had some turnover with getting some new teachers, but
that's rather
it's
interesting.
been kind of constant.
That's pretty good because with so many different schools that I've had in here since we started doing this feature, I spend a lot of time talking with teachers who are in their first, second, or within the first 5 years of teaching. What is it about Copeland that there's so much stability?
Gee, I don't know. I think the teachers that are there, enjoy the building, and it's one of the smaller buildings. We've got a large building in town, and then smaller elementaries, and it's kind of like a family. And I think they enjoy, that atmosphere. The people that are there just haven't been people that have, up and moved because of husbands moving or anything either. And the 5 and 5 last year, or a couple years ago, a few teachers left and we got some new teachers in. And I think now with the growth, I think probably before we weren't seeing a lot of growth in the area, and now in the area that we bring in for Copeland, there's been some growth and we've had to add staff too.
So it's the new teachers are there as a matter of growth, not because anybody was just thought it was time to move on. It's just you've gotten bigger.
We've gotten bigger, yeah, and a couple retirements.
Okay. What's new in the first grade these days? First grade is what, 6 years old?
6, 7.
6, 7 years old.
What's new in first grade? Well, we do a lot with it's a literature-based program, so we do a lot of reading, children's books, and a lot of projects that go along with that. It's a whole language philosophy of teaching. And I suppose it's really not all that different. I mean, we teach reading and math and
when you
writing.
say literature, though, there's a big emphasis on reading?
Big emphasis on reading and using children's books in order to instruct reading.
Such as no more See Dick Run and...
Right, no more basal texts. We use good stories and good literature to teach reading.
And are kids enjoying that?
Very much so, yeah. I think we're seeing kids become, they enjoy reading a whole lot more, and we do a lot of writing that goes along with the reading, so they're enjoying getting journals out and writing in journals and writing about the stories that they read. So.
Let me ask you why you became a teacher.
I guess it's the old cliche, I really love children, and I wanted to do something that involved kids. And at one time I thought about being a nurse in like a neonatal unit, but that kind of seemed sadder than happy, so I thought getting into education would be a good thing to do. And I always wanted to be a first grade teacher, so.
Really? And you've been doing first grade the entire time?
Well, I've done first grade for about 9 years, and I did a year in second grade 1 year because it was, population. There were more kids in second grade than first, and I did a year. Mike every once in a while likes to switch the teachers around, so I did a year in kindergarten.
That's probably good. That's probably a good idea, though. Mike, let me ask you. I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say. You do that just to keep them on their toes a little bit?
I guess keeping them on their toes is an appropriate term. We do kind of, we'll see some people spend some time within a certain period of time within grade level and stuff like that, and we ask if people would like to move to different grades, and you try to honor requests, and sometimes you have to move people around.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back. Let's meet the other teacher that's here. Oh man, I was really good in this, but somewhere along the line, as you can tell by my physique, Marilyn, I somehow got away from physical education. Marilyn Copeland is a physical education teacher at Copeland Manor. Well, let me ask the obvious. Any relation here?
It's just a quirky coincidence. I happened to marry Mr. Copeland. That's how that happened. Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence.
Right.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. I don't think that we've ever had a teacher who's also got the same name as the school.
No, the
here.
kindergartners think I own the school. It's great. It works for kindergarten. It doesn't work for any other grade. They catch on really fast.
Well, that's good. That's actually could make for a good first couple of days of school and break the ice here. Now you teach physical education to all the students?
Yes, I do. K through 5.
Wow. Now I'm thinking that's a lot of dodgeball. That's a lot
320 students, right? All of them.
Physical education, as we know, is important. I feel like I'm not an authority on that, looking at me now, but I remember, though, back in my grade school days, that was important. It was also probably the 1 hour a day or 45 minutes or whatever it was that most kids look forward to most. Is that still the case?
Oh, yeah. They definitely do. We have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But we do learn things, too.
Well, what do you, when you say that, aside from just keeping them physically fit, what are they learning there?
Well, they're learning sportsmanship. They're learning how to work together, cooperation. They're also learning a lot of skills. Throwing a ball, kicking a ball, all the things that they'll need when they grow up.
Mm-hmm. How many of them want to be the next Michael Jordan or the next...
Oh, they love basketball. They're very keyed into basketball. And they all would like to be the next Michael Jordan.
Because professional sports is really, really kind of like right in our face all the time, and you have people like Michael Jordan, or you have, whoever, and no matter what sport these days, is it more, are kids more interested in it than they ever were? Though I can't ever imagine a time that they weren't, but I mean now that maybe they're actually looking to go on and be professional athletes someday?
I think there's always been an interest, like you say, but I really feel at our school the kids are very active, and they're not just active when they're in school. We have a great Park District program, but many of the kids are involved in basketball and soccer and hockey, any sport you can think of outside of our school, and that is excellent. It's just great to keep them fit and interested in sports as a lifetime activity, so that it promotes good health for a lifetime.
And how long have you been a teacher?
Well, I've been a physical education teacher for 9 years at Copeland School, and before that, I worked in District 70. I started in 1976, so I've been about 21 years.
So always a physical education
Not
teacher?
always, no. I was a classroom teacher first.
So how do you go from the classroom to the gym?
Well, I've always had an interest in being a PE teacher, and I, too, stopped teaching to have a family, and when I started back again, there was a part-time position available at Copeland School, and I applied for it and got it, and I've been there for 9 years. Now I work full-time. So I've done a little of everything.
So we do have some long-term teachers here. Mike, what...
We don't look it, though, do we? We look very young.
Oh, you look younger than me.
Very young.
You look younger than me. See, I brought apples.
Yes.
I wish I had more now, because now I really feel like I'm sucking up to the teachers. I really should be handing out apples here. Mike, what's your secret? I mean, you've got these teachers who have been here for so many years and not scurrying away to other schools because they're unhappy. They want to stay. You've got an 11-year teacher here, a 9-year teacher just at Copeland alone. What's your secret?
I don't know if I've got the secret. I think it's a situation where they feel not only comfortable in the school, but comfortable working together. And like Sharon and Marilyn said that just a couple years ago, we some teachers did retire to 5 and 5, and we added some new staff. And I think all the time when you add new staff, you try to get a nice blend. So you try to get a blend to have a conducive educational environment. And I think that's what we've got there.
Obviously, as the principal, part of your responsibility is hiring those teachers. So what is it that you look for?
Well, you look to a person that not only has the qualifications, but hopefully it'll fit in well with the teaching team and with the staff together and make a nice blend and add something to the school.
Well, apparently you're doing the right thing here.
Oh, we hope so.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about what you're excited about this year. We're almost into November, so school's been in session for a good couple of months or more here a little bit. So everybody's settled in and happy to come to school every day. The kids are there, and I would imagine in the grade school, kindergarten through 5th grade, that this is if I was going to be a teacher, that's probably where I'd want to be. Why you can still keep their attention without having to. Though I'm sure that big wide-eyed. Well, I'm not talking about. I know you have a lot of outside influences, or kids have a lot of outside influences. But I would think though that kids at that age group are probably more eager to learn than they are once they get into middle school or high school. At that point, now they're more into and I don't, this is going to sound like a blanket statement, I don't mean it to be, but they're more rebellious or they're more challenging or it's probably a more difficult age to teach than what you're dealing with. Right in that? And you've taught high school, so that...
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a situation when you get the little ones never seem... they'll amaze you all the time, and they have stories that come up, and I think the little ones will keep you young. I guess it's a situation, if you're having a bad day, all you have to do is go down and speak to a kindergartner or a first grader, and they'll light you up again. I had the opportunity to read some stories that some first graders created. They took a field trip to the farm, and through what they liked about going up to Green Meadows Farm, along with some illustrations, I got some very enjoyable evening from that. So, never cease to amaze you.
That's good. How about the other day? I mean, there was this look of surprise in all of you when I said, "Oh, well, they're like really eager to learn, and they're looking forward to coming to school," and there was this look of surprise on all of you. Is that not always the case?
No, I think it's true. I think that's one of the reasons I like the little kids in the primary grades, because they're like sponges and they just soak everything up and they're eager to learn. They love their teacher. I mean, you can't do anything wrong, really. But I do think that, we're seeing needier kids, so it's maybe not, they're easier to teach maybe than high school kids in a different way, but it's a challenge.
Okay. Let me ask Marilyn, you probably have, correct me if I'm wrong, and
Okay.
I've been known to be wrong most of the time, I would think that you probably have, as the physical education teacher, the easiest class. That kids, because as I said earlier, kids want to come to that. I mean, it's better than having to sit there and listen to somebody read math facts to you, or having to go up to the blackboard and figure out a math problem, or remembering history facts, or reading a passage in front of the class from a book or something like that. Your class must be like a piece of cake.
It's a piece of cake.
Till they
10
have to
times a
run the
day.
mile.
10 times a day, it's a piece of cake. Here again, I can only echo what they say. It's great to see them come to class. Their faces are lit up. They always want to know what we're going to do. What are we doing today? What are we doing today? And it's a challenge for me to keep it exciting, even though kids love to play games and be active. But I need to keep them moving, keep them active, and hold their interest. And it is. They do enjoy coming to me.
Well, actually, I was being half serious and half facetious there, because I'm thinking, and I remember him back into it, not because of me, but there's always those kids occasionally who are not that physically
Right.
adept.
Right.
And, I've seen, you don't impress me as this type of physical education teacher, but I've seen physical education teachers who have been, a little difficult on those kids. And almost to the point of humiliating
Right,
a child.
no,
Before. How do you handle the kids who I didn't think you did? How do you handle the kids who might be having a little tough time?
Well, right now we're in the middle of our physical fitness testing, and if ever deficits would show up, this would be the case. We do an endurance mile, and there are just kids that cannot run and do not run. And in the years past, I've taken all the competition out of it, and everybody runs, and I have walked it with them. I'm not a runner, so I walk behind them to encourage them. And it's more or less to build, I like to build on their strengths, the things that they can do, and every child can do something. Someone said to me today, well, I'm not very athletic. And I said, oh, yes, you are. I said, look at how well you did in tennis. So every time I try to talk to them about the different types of activities that are involved in being athletic. And it's not just being a football player or a basketball player. It's also tennis and being strong or doing things like that. But no, I don't ever draw attention to their weaknesses.
Yeah, somehow I didn't think you would.
No.
Just in general, in students in general, how do you handle that? In any class, whether it's in your class or even as the principal, when you have students who are, you know that they're trying, but you just know that they're not going to be in the top percentile of the class, that they're having a tough time, whether it's with math or reading, or whether it's in physical education, or just in general. How do you handle those situations?
I think, like Marilyn said, you build on the positives and you try to draw out their strengths. If they can draw a nice picture and aren't able to write a whole lot, then you key in on that. It's a treat to go down to see the principal and read him a story. And maybe some of them that have been struggling for a while, they finally get a story mastered and they can read that. So then we go down and Mr. Snow listens to them, and you know, it's a positive reinforcement kind of thing.
I think, too, that we are very big on community, building community, and in each classroom, I know all the teachers work on building classroom community, and we do have children with a wide variety of abilities and differences, and we work together on understanding that everyone is different and we're all special, and we all need to look at each other's strengths and you know, support each other, and that carries over to my gym too.
Okay, Mike, you want to add anything there?
Yeah, I think that what they're saying is very true. We kick off the year talking about Copeland as a community, and we talk, you know, you have to have rules and regulations within your community, but each person is a contributor to the community. And you know, our motto with our, we're the Copeland Cougars, and it looks like just a smiling tiger up there. You know, that's kooky. But it is be proud, and what we try to tell the kids is be proud, give it your best shot, and, you know, we look to the effort. And that's, I think, what the teachers do. They try to look to the positives and build on that.
All right, we're going to continue our conversation here with our School of the Week folks. The Copeland Manor School in Libertyville. Principal Michael Snow is here, and teachers Marilyn Copeland and Sharon Murphey are in the studio with us as well. We'll continue in just a moment. Right now it's time to get a preview of what's going to be coming up in the news at 4. Michelle has our headlines.
Thanks.
Good afternoon. Yes. You know, there's one problem with actually having guests in the studio. They actually see how we do it sometimes. Sometimes we do it by the skin of our teeth here. Okay, I'm back. It's the 3:30 in the afternoon. We are in the midst of our School of the Week feature. The Copeland Manor School in Libertyville. Their principal, Michael Snow, is here. First grade teacher Sharon Murphy and physical education teacher Marilyn Copeland, who it was brought to my attention, I forgot to ask her why she became a teacher.
Well, I think it was when I decided to be a teacher when I used to gather the neighborhood kids together and line up all the chairs and get out my chalkboard and my chalk. I think it was probably back then, and I was probably also influenced by a special teacher in 3rd grade who really got me started.
Well, that's a nice story. Why didn't you want to tell that?
I did. I told you.
but you didn't want to.
Well, I was a little embarrassed.
You know, every now and then I can. It's sort of like my way of getting back at all the teachers who used to put me on the spot.
I
would
see.
Call on me when I wasn't ready.
That's right. When you're not listening.
I'm sorry.
That's
you
okay.
had to be the victim
That's
there.
Okay, Dan.
What's the also
Drop and give me 20.
Yeah, right. I drop. That's all you're going to get out of me. I really need somebody. I need a personal trainer to get me back in shape a little bit.
We'll talk after the show.
Okay. I wanted to talk about some of the things that you folks are excited about. I'd like to find out in the second half of the program what's new and exciting that's maybe just specific to your school. And I understand you're doing something with dance or something in...
Oh, we dance every year. And the kids look forward to it with great anticipation. But
you're making that up, because when I had dance in gym,
no.
I was never looking forward to it.
Well, it's the holding hands business that they don't really like, or they pretend not to like the holding hands. But we are in the process of revising our curriculum, the physical education curriculum, as well as the dance curriculum, and I teach the dance in physical education. So it's changing, and we are doing more assessment with that. I have to watch them to make sure they can, you know, sachet and do-si-do, those types of things. But it's exciting for me to be involved in developing new curriculum and new ideas and taking the best of what's out there in physical education and bringing it to our program.
I would imagine that even as the physical education teacher, and then I'll let you off the hook here for a second.
Okay, that's okay.
But that it is different now, because the fact with television, and we're right there now, the Olympics are coming up next year, and you know, the Summer Olympics are going to be taking place in Atlanta. So do you ever take time out and, like, all right, we're not going to play a game right now, talk about what the Olympics really means, and do you talk about things like that in class?
What we've done in the past is sure, talk about it, and also we have our own little mini Olympics where we do like crazy Olympics, where during the Winter Olympics we did, you know, like skating with paper plates, and we just did all different kinds of activities. But sure, anything. We talk about activities that happen out in the community, and you know, certainly the Olympics is one that we key in on in those years.
Sounds like that you're a great physical education
I'm the
teacher.
greatest.
And oh so modest.
Yes, ask anyone.
Michael's nodding his head over
I
here.
have to say that she's the best physical education teacher I have at Copeland Manor.
How
Because
many
I'm
do you
the
have?
only one.
Okay, I kind of figured that was coming. That saw that one coming across the hall. What else are you excited about this year? What else are you doing that you haven't tried before, or you're happy about that you don't know of other schools doing? Anything?
For quite a few years, what we've implemented is we call our buddy classes, and probably a lot of schools have their variations, but we try to pair up a class of older students with younger students, and they get together not only sometimes to do some things on social projects, but also on academic projects. And I think it's a situation where probably sometimes kids are the best teacher of kids. And the little ones always look up to the older ones, and the older ones are always really good with the younger ones and helping out. And Marilyn does something at the end of the year. We have what we call a field day, and she has activities, and we kind of do buddy classes together, pairing up activities in a non-competitive environment. So that seems to go over really well.
That's good. Anything else? So how about going on? Anything different in your class, Sharon?
Well, not in class, but I think school-wide, each year we do a service project and try to have the kids helping other kids somewhere. And last year we were involved with Loyola Hospital and getting them some things that they needed, and the kids, you know, writing letters back and forth or sending things. West Pike Elementary School, when there was bad flooding a couple years ago down in Hall, Illinois, we adopted that school and did projects so that we could raise money and help them out, and had communication going back and forth between the school. And we've helped the pads in Lake County. We haven't really selected a project yet for this year, but we're working on that. So, and the kids really enjoy that. They know that they're helping somebody else. They know that there's other kids involved. Sometimes they get letters from those kids, or, you know, banners or whatever, and they feel good about that.
It brings up an interesting point that I wanted to ask, that I've been asking some of the teachers here in the last few weeks we've been doing this. And it sort of goes back to the fact that when I brought this up when I was talking about physical education, television and the media is just so immediate these days that things are right there, and kids are so much more savvy than they were probably when we were that age. There are a lot of things that we would have only heard in the news or in the headlines before when we were kids. Now it's there. The O.J. Simpson trial, the Oklahoma City bombing. I don't know how much the Million Man March would have figured in there, but let's take O.J. Simpson, the Oklahoma City bombing. These are two major news events, and kids, even at that age, have to be aware there's something going on. It's always on the television. Mom and Dad are probably talking about it, and there's so many images there. Do they bring these concerns to the classroom, and how do you handle them, and how do you talk about those things?
Well, they do. They bring them up. I don't know at 6 years old or 7 years old that they really understand what's going on, but you can tell that there's been discussion at the dinner table or whatever, and sometimes we tie that into, you know, relating it to what we can do better to make sure that things like that don't happen, or, you know, we don't get into real big discussions on those things, but if they bring it up and if they're concerned about it, we talk about it. And
okay.
They were very interested in the OJ verdict.
Yes, very.
It came at lunchtime, and several of the teachers were watching, and we reported the news to the kids after lunch, and they were very interested to know what had happened.
And knew what their parents thought, and
right.
agreeing or not agreeing.
That must have been a fun day for all of you.
Well, it was a day where you can, you know, sometimes you can seize a moment in teaching, and that was a priority for the kids. And they wanted, you know, especially 4th and 5th graders, they wanted to talk about it. They had their own viewpoints, and I think some of them were given ideas on what the prosecution should have done or what the defense should have done. They were really into it, and that's, you know, that's pretty good thinking, and citizens being aware.
See, I can remember back, I was in the 3rd grade when President Kennedy was assassinated, and I can remember how that was handled. You know, I can still, of course, I think everybody over the age of 5 knows exactly what they were wearing that day. And so it's just interesting to know how teachers handle that, and you realize that you play such a big role in a child's life. You know, that it's not, and it's probably even more so now today in the 90s, because of the fact that the family dynamic has changed. A lot of single-parent families out there, kids are sometimes not coming to school as prepared as they were, that we hoped our parents had prepared us, even the simple little things like reading to their kids a little bit. So that's why I have great admiration for teachers, for what you folks do. We don't pay folks nearly enough for what we expect of you.
That's nice to hear.
Thank you.
We've got just a short time left. This is the part of the program that I call it the cheerleading section, where we pretty much go back down the panel and we'll end with the principal about everything that you're really excited about, or what you're most proud of, and what you hope for the rest of this particular school year. And I'm going to start with the wide-eyed physical education teacher. Boy, I hope that I never, I hope there's no fluke in life that sends me back as a child and puts me in your physical education class. I know I'd be punished.
No,
Marilyn
you
Copeland.
wouldn't. No, I think I'm most proud of the fact that the children are active. Our children are involved and physically active and interested in health and being healthy. And I like to see them. My son is in District 70 also, and I'm involved in soccer. And I love to go to the soccer fields on every Saturday and see the kids from our school that are involved. And, of course, they like to see me. This last weekend, many of the boys from Copland were on a team that shellacked my son's team. So they were very, very into that. But I really think that it's important for kids to understand that they need to be healthy and they need to be physically active. And I think that that's something that the majority of our students are really into. And I hope I play a part in that. I'm glad to do that.
All right, Marilyn, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Our first grade teacher, Sharon Murphey.
Well, I think the last few years at Copeland we've had themes, and this year our theme is respect. And I think it's been real interesting, and I think the teachers have been really proud of the kids, how they've related to the theme and how they're really thinking about other people, they're respecting others, they're respecting the school property, and those things are good to see. So I think, the whole Copeland community is excited about that.
Okay, I appreciate you being here today.
Well, it was good to be here.
And we always end with the principal. The principal of Copeland Manor School in Libertyville is Michael Snow.
I think that if you take a look at the school year as in the past, I think what you have to have is a strong partnership. And that's what we try to promote over at Copeland Manor School between parents, students, teachers, and hopefully the administrator. And what Sharon said, our theme this year is respect. And we've had a couple themes in prior years, and the kids have risen to the occasion. And this year, you can really see it in the short time that we've been here. As a public school, you have a number of different students coming in with each of their special little needs. And I think that our students take a look at one another and kind of key in on one another and help out one another. And I think it's a helping community and a good environment.
Sounds like you have a great school over there.
No doubt.
We do.
I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, it's our School of the Week, Copeland Manor School in Libertyville, and my thanks to the principal, Michael Snow, and teachers Marilyn Copeland and Sharon Murphey. And as always, our School of the Week has been brought to you by